Hey guys, it's been some time. Like a lot of time, like about maybe a week or two since I posted any videos, and I'm not exactly ready to go into certain details of why I haven't been able to post any videos. It's been a personal processing time for me. And what was the catalyst for me making a video finally was the conversation that I had with a friend of mine named Jen. She was asking, hey, kind of what's going on, how are things, and what have you. And I discussed to her the things that had happened between me and Xavier's mother. And in disclosing that information, I showed her the last text message that Xavier's mother sent me, which I guess I'm going to put up right here for anybody that cares to look at it. And her first immediate question was, are you safe? I realized that question in itself more or less sums up how I've been feeling. Not whether I am actually a safe person to be around, but more or less, do other people feel that I'm a safe person to be around? I have had a lot of people in my life who never even question that, knowing the history of me that they know. My last girlfriend, Danny, had two children, well, has two children, and they would request me personally. They would go, oh, where's Nick? Can Nick come over? It's still the idea that they loved my company. They loved me being around, even though sometimes I could be harsh. I feel that they always knew that it was out of love. Even Chuck and Sue, and they knew me before I got incarcerated last time, who have let me into their house. Part of their family is what they have let me feel like for many years. When I first came into the family, their daughter, Nakoma, she was about 10, 11. And whenever they said, oh yeah, Nick's coming to live with us for a while, Nakoma was so excited. It was her birthday, actually, whenever I came. I'm like, hey, I'm going to stay here for a while. And she was just so happy. They were like, yeah, if we didn't trust you, you wouldn't be here. If we thought for whatever reason that you would harm the people in this household, you wouldn't be here. They have given a lot of responsibilities to me and given me the opportunity that a lot of people wouldn't give me, especially given my history. It is these people that I am extremely grateful for, because there are other people out there who don't see me as nice. My first example is I went to go check in at probation. Yes, I'm on probation. And I happened to see one of Xavier's mother's old friend, Michelle. And she was like, hey, Nick. And I was like, hey, you. Because at the time I couldn't remember her name. And I was like, okay, yeah, hey, how you doing? I'm just checking in and leaving right back out. But she was like, hey, and whatever her boyfriend there, whatever his name was, like, hey, this is Nick. She was like, oh, this is Xavier's mother's ex-husband. And I'm like, oh, that's my title. Great. That's what I am. I'm not like, oh, the nice guy that did this, that, or whatever. The guy who did a lot of different things. That wasn't me. No, I am Xavier's mother's ex-husband. And that kind of made me feel some kind of way, but I kind of pushed it away. I was going to make a video about it, but I never got around to it. And then there was Jessica. And Jessica was actually related to Chuck, who actually lived next door. I helped babysit her kids. There were multiple nights that I came up there and like, hey, you're out here, you look kind of like you need somebody to talk to. And we would talk. I honestly thought everything was grand and fine until later on I was talking to another friend of mine, and they were like, yeah, she thinks you're a psycho. And I'm like, but she let me watch her kids. We had deep conversations and stuff. She's like, yeah, they said you have mental health problems and that, like, you're really fucked up. I'm like, I am not. Like, you're talking to me and I seem perfectly fine, right? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what she was talking about. But it just kind of goes to show that people are kind of like evil. And then there was Nikki. Nikki was the person that got me and Danny together. It was a blind date at first, and then it turned out to be a really good relationship until, it wasn't. Relationships, and I understand that. But it turned out that Nikki was saying a lot of bad things about me. She was saying that I was a wife beater. It's not me. It wasn't my charges, and there is no proof behind it other than people who talk who don't know anything. And then there is Melissa, who told me that she didn't want anything to do with me. She didn't want to talk to me as a friend. That we used to be really close friends. And she said she couldn't do that anymore because of my past history. And it's kind of like, I'm still the same person. But all these things, even today, with my friend Jen asking, am I safe? Made me think about why do people think I'm not? So I guess the question that makes more sense right now to ask is, why am I even doing a video about this? Or should I do a video about this? And Honestly, both those questions are running through my head with every word that I'm saying right now. But I feel I need to do this. I feel I need to do this because I don't have anything to hide. I don't. But you guys who have watched my videos, I've talked about my DID openly. For those who watch my videos, I talked about the incident of 2014 openly. Oh God, that was such a hard video for me to do, but I talked about it openly because I have taken responsibility for my actions in those parts, but I do feel that maybe I do hold myself responsible for my own actions. But at the same time, I do not want people to have this misconception of me that I am a dangerous person. But in order for that to really be a thing, you have to understand why people will be seeing what they see. In the text message that Xavier's mother sent me, she mentioned, I'm going to read exact quotes here. I trust somebody who does not have a criminal record with drugs and assault. So let me explain my drug charges. As anybody who has ever been to college knows, making money is not exactly easy. So I had a side job. I delivered packages. I delivered papers. I delivered notes. I delivered gifts. I was a delivery boy, glorified, self-created. However, during the summer, college kids go away and left me with townies. And there was this one individual who I knew through a friend of an associate, a relative, of so on and so forth, who had a package for me to deliver. Nothing seemed different about this delivery other than, yeah, I really didn't know these people, but I didn't know the people who I did it for when I was in college either. So nothing seemed out of the ordinary until it ended up being that the package had drugs in them. And it turned out that the person who actually gave me the job of delivering this package was a CI and a known snitch. Keep in mind, not known to me. It was a job. But it was a job that I should have been more cautious about. I was young. I was stupid. I was too trustworthy. I was screwed. Granted, I didn't manufacture anything. I told them I didn't manufacture anything. I told them who gave it to me, and they're like, yeah, we know. And I'm like, well, fuck. What do I got? 3 to 5 years of prison time. When I got out in 3 years, I was on parole. And so keep in mind, the remainder of my parole, no violations. Because I wasn't a bad person. I didn't do bad things. I did things according to the book, and I might do things outside the box, but I wasn't bad. I wasn't a bad person. Matter of fact, they had me go to a drug and alcohol course. And honestly, within the first, there was intake, and then there was the first session that took about a week. At the end of the first session, the counselor was like, you don't have a drug and alcohol problem because you don't do drugs and alcohol. You aren't even part of that circle. Matter of fact, from what I understand, you hate it. I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm not a fan of drugs. I'm not a fan of alcohol. And they knew that because I had no violations. They were going to discharge me, but I was like, hey, I actually like talking to somebody about what's going on in my life. So since me and the counselor had a pretty good, rapport with each other, they let me stay on board as a counseling services. And throughout the entire time, it was fun. I liked having someone to talk to. But we still talked for about a good 2 years. And whenever she left the actual program is when I actually started going to actual therapy, just to be able to help talk things through, to understand what was going on in my own life. It was helpful. And then I met my wife, and I was happy. If you guys know me personally, you know that the incident of 2014 really was a big moment in my life. It changed everything. And sadly enough, both in a horrible way, but also in a positive way, in the sense that it allowed me to push myself further. However, to understand what she meant by assault charges, you have to understand that about the incident itself. And if you wanted more details, I linked the video here because I did it before, so I'm just going to give you guys the clip notes. Xavier's mother informed me after she left for a couple months to hang out with her friend that the friend ended up being the person that she was sleeping with for over half of our marriage. Keep in mind, throughout the entire time that she was gone with her friend, she was like, okay, well, we can get back together if you do this. Or if you do that, things will be better for everybody. And it wasn't like bad, horrible things. Like, okay, well, be more structured, be more attentive, play less video games, watch less TV, clean up the house a little bit more. Isn't the house not messy? It's cluttered, so clean up after him some more. Just be a better person, or be a better father altogether. And I did everything. I stopped taking my meds because I wanted to be focused. At the time, I really wanted to be focused. I wanted to be focused. I wanted to be in the moment. And I wanted to make our family better. She told me to jump through the hoops, and I jumped through them happily, thinking that the end road was going to be my family was going to come back together. But when she told me about her friend, And the fact that she's been with this friend before she left, shortly after we got married, a couple months, I guess, because we were only married for 2 years, and she was with this friend of hers for over a year. It broke me. It did. It broke me, and I wanted to die. I wanted to not be part of the constant disappointment that I obviously give the people who I gave the most time and effort to, my family. Even when people would tell me, "Oh, Nick, this stuff is happening," I would tell them, "No, my wife wouldn't do that to me. My wife wouldn't do that to our family." But it happened, and it just became inward. And I wanted to die instantly, so I tried to kill myself. She, in turn, called the police. The police came. The police feared for their own safety and had to tase me because of that. That is actually underneath the definition of law, aggravated assault on a police officer, because the police officer feared for his life, because I was determined to not live, because I felt I failed everyone. The people who told me about what she was doing and I denied it, I supported her throughout that. I felt like a fool for listening to her and doing everything she said, because it was for the betterment of the family. It was to be a better person. It worked, but with the false pretenses of that it would work out. I felt like a failure, because I felt that if the woman who I loved more than anybody else hated me this much, what would my son think of me? What does my son think of me at the tender age of 2? Does he think I'm a fool too, a failure, a laughing stock, a joke? At the time, I couldn't. And with the lack of medication and me pushing so hard, everything just came down at once, and I just didn't want any of it. It was the lowest and weakest moment of my life. Since then, I've done a lot better. Whenever I had Xavier, I had parenting class with Xavier's mother. I also took 2 fatherhood programs. Now I am actually on the way of finishing my 2nd parenting program, the Triple P. I have it up on my board here. The Positive Parenting program. And I am doing amazing in it, apparently. If you guys seen my taking credit video and my good video, my parenting class videos, you see that I'm always excited about learning new things about how to be a better person, how to be a better dad. That's me. I've learned, I developed a Better Me committee, website and videos and everything else, until I dissolved that so that I can focus more on the legacy project as an actual physical project. And I am working currently for a consulting company periodically, Manor Broadcasting periodically, and Twilight Broadcasting periodically. They're giving me chances, and I'm taking any opportunity that I can to better myself throughout the entire path. But honestly, when people look at those charges, people just see the words on paper, or when they just hear it, they get this misconception. They get it all wrong. They don't see what really happened behind everything. And I really want to kind of set the record straight on that to the people who don't know. And I know with what's about to come from obviously the messages that you guys saw before, is going to come in front of a judge. My history, both criminal and mental health. And the only defense that I have is that I have done better. I have found a way to manage and process. I'm not a bad person. I am safe. And I'm not just saying that because I need to believe that. I'm saying that because I do believe that. Because if I didn't believe that, I would not want to make connections with people. I wouldn't be with skills or service access management, or I wouldn't be trying to be a CPS to help other people who are struggling with similar situations. I wouldn't be with this family right now if I felt that I was a danger to anybody. And they wouldn't have me here. They wouldn't trust me as much as they do if they felt that they couldn't trust me. If they felt they weren't safe around me. Multiple times they have told me they have never felt unsafe around me. If nothing else, they have always felt safer when I was around, because if something were to happen, I jump to it. So for those people who think that I'm not safe, for those people who think that my history is worth not getting to know the real me, for those people who think that I am, let me see if I get this right, a deadbeat dad, worthless, a fool, a failure, know that I take credit for all the bad things I've done. All of it. And I understand I'm not perfect. I know no one's perfect, the whole saying and whatever, but I am trying to do better. I am better than the words on paper. I am better than the whispers of rumors that people talk about me. I am good. I'm not just a good person, but a good father. I tried my damnedest to be. I'm also safe. I'm not a danger to the community at large. I'm not a danger to the people who I love and I cherish. People who have shown that they have been there for me when I needed it, even when I didn't deserve it. I try to be a good father to my son, regardless of the obstacles. And I'll jump over any other obstacle that comes in front of my way. No matter how many times I fail, no matter how foolish I seem, and no matter how many times, I'll do it for him and the people that I love because they are willing to make that sacrifice for me. So, yes, I am safe. Thank you guys for listening. That's all I got.